Hey guys, Ryan Earnhardt here from CreativeSoundLab.tv. Well, today's kind of an interesting one. It's a pretty different idea. It was brought up to me by my friend Eric Seraphin. He's a producer, a mix engineer, and also an author that goes by the name of Mixer Man. He was telling me about this idea where you take an NS10 for a really bright guitar cabinet, and the NS10, tweeter and all, it actually makes for a really good mic. And I thought, that's kind of weird, you know? But I never thought of it, and today I'm going to try it to see if it works. Now, it might be terrible, it might be amazing. So we're going to find out together. Let's do it. So in case you haven't been following me, we're not trying to play sound out of the NS10. We're actually using it as a microphone. A passive speaker and a dynamic mic actually work on the same principle. This is why we can set up a speaker in front of a kick drum and use it as a sub-kick. It's just a speaker collecting sound instead of emitting sound. So the first step to this was really just making a cable. I decided to make a cable specifically for this, just so I have it. It's a male XLR. The ground isn't connected at the other end, so you just have the red and the clear wire that goes into the positive and the negative of the speaker. Now, I have had videos in the past where I've been using DI boxes and stuff, and you know, I will say that's really not technically correct. I think at the time it worked, but it wasn't really the most efficient route, I think, for electrical current and impedances and things like that. It did give me, you know, 2 wires into 3 wires and send it down to the preamp, but I think it's more actually just technically correct just to plug it straight in to a preamp just by disconnecting the ground. So you have the TS cable going into an XLR, and the ground just isn't connected, you know, at the speaker end. So that's how I hooked up the speaker. So here's what it sounds like with just the NS10, and this guitar amp is bright. I have it bright, presence turned up. Let's hear it. I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. I was kind of disappointed, but I will say that it is kind of picking up like, I mean, it sounds loud. Even though it's dark, it sounds really loud. Like, it's picking up the resonance of the guitar cabinet, I think. Let's see what the 57 sounds like, just as a comparison, so you get an idea of what this guitar amp actually sounds like. So not bad. You know, maybe this is a great mixable sound. But I'm curious, though, about combining these mics. Now, I have said, and I guess this is a video for me to contradict myself, but I have said in previous videos that I don't like to use multiple mics, or I use only one distance, or coincident, you know, placement, whatever. But my friend over in Australia, his name is Dan James. He's a doctoral student at a university there, and he's been doing some extensive research in phase relationships and really learning how to line them up, and really some advanced techniques that he's told me about. We're going to be pairing up and doing some videos, I'm sure. But we've been talking for at least a year now about phase relationships, and he turned me on to this idea of this Sound Radix Auto Align. And so I'm going to use that today to align these, you know, as best as I can, or as best as the plugin can, and see how these combine. We don't have a time difference because we're using the plugin. If I just pulled these things up, we'd have a time difference. These two transducers, you could say, or microphones, they're going to compete with one another with their phase relationships. They're going to cancel some stuff out. But because the plugin really makes it doable. It would just not be possible. We could maybe try playing a click, a transient through the speaker and align it by eye. But you know, this Auto Align plugin, it's been a lot of fun to play with. It's been very eye-opening. So here we're set up with 2 live microphones in the live room with the guitar amp, and we're listening in the control room. Now this is significant because we're able to actually monitor the live signal. We can listen in real time to how both microphones are combining and go in and make an adjustment if we don't like how these mics are complementing one another. Okay, so here I have the NS10 set up in front of the amp. It just happens to be panned left. Then I have the SM57 slightly at an angle at the bottom right speaker of the 410 cabinet here. And I'm going to see here, auto align is set already on the NS10. Go ahead and add it to the 57. And let's see, I'll send on one, and then I'll catch on one. And let's see how it does here. I haven't done it actually in live microphones. I usually do it in the mixing process, but let's see. Nice. Let me see how that adds together. That is huge. Okay, cool enough, but let's see what happens in a mix. This guitar is what, pan left in the mix? Okay, so this is definitely really cool. I mean, I really like using this plugin. It's definitely different from what I've talked about in the past, and I'm not saying that I can't learn new things, right? Like, that's kind of the point of this channel, is it's a Creative Sound Lab, where I'm always just trying out, questioning things. It made this technique actually doable. I thought it sounds great. It's almost like the cab resonance that you miss with the 57. You're able to actually build that in. You're actually able to build in the loudness. The NS10 is not necessarily like a noticeable thing, but it's almost just something that makes the amp sound really loud. And it's kind of this feeling of the amp versus the clarity, or it's more about the bigness and the feeling. It just makes it sound loud. So yeah, I thought this was pretty interesting. This is almost like a sub kick for guitar amps. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think of this. I'll be hanging out in the comments below.